Hey guys, it's Josh from Vision. I wanted to go over the Vision 1.4.4 update real quick. We made a few small changes. I'll start with the most minor, which right here on the chart, you guys are used to the tiles. We made a small change in the opacity for the light mode. It was kind of hard to see the data at times, so we changed that slightly, but not enough that it affects when you have data behind it, such as candles or signals, etc. So just a small change there. So let's go ahead and go into the settings menu and we'll get to the rest of it. So near the bottom here, above signal start, you'll see a new section called RSI settings. This is where you can enter your RSI oversold and overbought thresholds. These directly affect this tile. So now you have control over when the tile is in the red area, the green area, based on your thresholds. So it's orange right now because it's floating between these two values, the default of 30 and 70. So if we were to drop the 70 down to 45, we could force it to go red, like so, because it's over the overbought threshold. Or if we were to change the oversold threshold to 50, we could force it to go green. There it goes. So these will also tie into alerts, which we'll go over in a second. The other small change we made, stop loss settings. By default, we changed it from banner to tile. Reason being is with the banner being the default, some charts, it could stretch out all the data on the chart. And for new users or no one familiar with auto-scaling the data to the chart or manually scaling the chart in TradingView, it could be confusing. So everything would just kind of look messed up. So this will help new users, out the gate have something that looks like what they're seeing, on our videos or elsewhere. So just something that'll help us and new users. So hopefully, I think everybody that's used the stop loss long enough with the tile option have honestly swapped over to that anyway. So now it's just the default. We have a new trading experience of beta that I'll go over in a minute, but first let's jump over to alerts. So I'll go over and pull up the alert menu. Starting at the bottom, we have 8, 7, 6, and 5. These are new alerts. So with 7 and 8, these are the RSI oversold and overbought alerts. So directly impacted by your threshold settings, these alerts will trigger when the RSI is exceeding your thresholds. All right, so pretty straightforward. You guys want your RSI alerts, the most basic form, but integrated into Vision without adding something else. You now have them right here, so hopefully that'll be helpful and please a lot of you people I know that have been asking. It's something that I've wanted personally for a while as well. So 5 and 6, oversold bull and overbought bear. Your typical bull bear signals, but these will only trigger if your RSI thresholds are also being met. So for example, if you get a bull signal and it's also below your oversold threshold, you will get that signal. All right, so this will filter out all the bulls and bears in areas that you do not want. Okay, so if, for example, you had the threshold at the default 30 for oversold and the RSI was at 50 and a bull hits, it will not alert you. Okay, pretty straightforward. Now let's go back over to the settings and the trading experience. So we talked about briefly a minute ago about the new settings, and we kind of talked about it in the server. Scalper beta. This is something that's very early, so for those that are not familiar with the term beta, it's very early development. We're steadily working on it. So do not live trade with this, just kind of use it to poke around and see, what we're doing and how it changes things. It'll get better. It does really well in some cases, but of course it has its odd moments because it is early. So if we change it right now, for example, in this chart, we'll probably see these start chopping up. Yeah. And it still does respect the bearish runs quite well. Like right in here, you see it started chopping up here, but these big bear runs and the big bull runs, it will respect them. But when it gets a chance, it will chop it up versus the normal settings. So we're targeting the lower time frames for this, obviously for scalper. But it's a work in progress, but we just wanted to put that out there so you guys can start poking around with it and seeing what we're doing. And so as we continue to develop it, we'll push updates, but hopefully we'll get it finessed enough that the next version, it'll no longer be a beta. All right. One other change I wanted to go over that we made. We'll change this back to intermediate. Actually, it doesn't matter. Get another tab. We've patched the one-day charts. So there was an issue, especially with altcoins or a chart where there was not enough historical data for Vision to make a great decision. It would just wig out. So right here, for example, here's version 1.4.3. You have a bear here and it never re-entered, and I think this is on intermediate by default. Yes, a lot of these cases, on the one day we've recommended going to advanced because it requires less data and it'll act faster, so that'll correct it in some cases, but not always. So what we've done is, so let me put this back on intermediate, and we'll make sure that version 1.4.4 is on intermediate as well, so these two match. And we'll go ahead and bring the new version up so you can see immediately how it actually got back in and then it exited correctly. Whereas version 3, it just, for whatever reason, and I could dig into this further, but it's likely the historical data that it has. So that's fixed, so that should be something that, a lot of these one-day charts where you see these issues, that should be patched, and you'll see it'll chop it up quite nicely. So yeah, that's pretty much everything we have on the update. We'll continue working on some other things, and if you guys have any issues with it or have any feedback, please let us know. We love hearing it. Thanks, guys.